Hello boys and girls, Miss Holloway here. Today we are going to be learning about how to add mixed numbers to a number line. A mixed number is when you take a whole number and a fraction and you put it together. For example, it might look something like this, 1.5. It's a whole number and a fraction put together. Well, what does that look like drawn out? One whole circle and just half of a circle. One whole circle and one half of a circle would be 1.5. So let's talk about how to do those on a number line. In the previous lesson, you learned how to put fractions on a number line. If you did not watch that video, I would suggest to go back and watch that from yesterday. All right, on a number line, we are usually just marking whole numbers. And we are going to do that today, but we're also going to put some fractions on it too. So today, instead of labeling it 0 to 1, like we did yesterday, we're going to label 0, 1, and 2, just like we're labeling a number line from 0 to 2. Okay? In this case, what this is showing is 2 whole circles. Okay? They're not equal circles, but we'll pretend they are. Okay? 2 whole circles. That's what this is showing, or 2 whole regions. All right, now we're going to put some fractions in between each whole number. So on this side, I want you to put 3 marks. 1, 2, 3. And I want you to put 3 marks in between the 1 and the 2. 1, 2, 3. Try to make them as equal as possible. Okay, so now we have to figure out what our denominator is. So yesterday when we were doing this, our number line looked just like this, from 0 to 1. And we are going to do the exact same thing we did yesterday when counting a number line to figure out the denominator. Remember, we never count the first number, and we count up to the whole number and stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. That makes my denominator 4. Okay, and I can put a 4 here if I want to. All right, so from the 0 to the 1, the denominator is 4. Now, let's figure out from the 1 to the 2. Okay, so now we're going to pretend like we're starting here. Let's say this is the beginning of our number line, not 0, 1. We never count that first number, okay? So pretend it's not there. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Okay, the denominator is 4. All right, so now, look, the denominator for every single fraction is going to be 4 because both parts are broken into 4 pieces. So that would look like this on our circles. I have 2 whole circles broken into 4 equal parts. Okay, here's the first section, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's the second section, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we need to label our numerators. This is the first tick mark. Label it 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Now what do you do when you go past the 1 on this side? The exact same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like a pattern. If it were to go on and past the 2, you would still put 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. But there is something special that you have to do when you are using whole numbers. So once I pass this whole number 1, I have to include it. I always say we have to invite it to the party. We have to invite that whole number to the party once you pass it, okay? We don't have to invite this 0 to the party because the 0 isn't going to bring anything to the party. It has nothing to bring, so we don't include it. But that 1, it might bring like one bag of chips to the party. So we're going to include it. Okay, 1 1/4, 1 2/4, 1 3/4, 1 4/4. Now, usually when we are labeling number lines, we don't incorporate these fractions. We usually write them as a whole number instead. Okay, so now I have 1/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 1. 1 1/4, 1 2/4, 1 3/4, 2. If it were to go on, it would say 2 1/4, 2 2/4, 2 3/4, 3. 3 1/4, 3 2/4, 3 3/4, 4. It is just a pattern over and over and over again. The fractions stay the same. The only thing that changes is the mixed number, or sorry, the whole number. So once you pass that 2, you would invite the 2 to the party and put the 2 in front of the fraction. Okay, so let's see what this looks like down here. 1/4 would be colored in as 1 piece out of 4. 2/4, 2 pieces. 3/4, 4/4. So this is where I am now. 4/4 is 1 whole piece. Now let's see what this looks like. 1 1/4. I have 1 whole and 1/4. 1 whole and 1/4. 1 2/4. 1 whole and 2/4. 1 2. 1 whole and 3/4. 1 4/4 or 2 would be 1 whole and 4/4, or 2 whole circles shaded in. Okay, let's try one more. Using the ruler just to make a straight line. Okay, this time I'm not going to start with 0. I'm going to start with 1. And we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Repeat the same steps. Okay, this time I'm going to put only 2 marks in between. So put a mark here and here, here and here. Okay, now I'm going to find the denominator first. I never count that first number. Okay, 1, 2, 3, stop. Now, why didn't I count the whole number line? Remember that I only count up to the whole number and stop, the first whole number, and then stop. 1, 2, 3, stop. 3. That's my denominator. And that means it's the denominator for the entire number line. Okay? And this is why. From here to here is 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. From here to here is 3 pieces. They're not very equal, but we're going to pretend they are. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So now I did not start with 0. I'm starting with 1. Okay? So I'm not going to count it, but I'm going to count this one as the first one. 1, 2. Do the same here. Pass the whole number. 1, 2. Okay. Now, I have to do something special to all of these fractions because I have passed a whole number. Remember, I didn't start with 0, and when you start with 0, you don't include the 0. Remember, the 0 didn't bring anything to the party, so we're not going to include it. But when you do pass a whole number, you include it. You invite it to the party. So we're going to put a 1 in front of the 1/3 and put a 1 in front of the 2/3. So I have 1 1/3, 1 2/3, 2. I'm going to pass the 2, so I'm going to invite it to the party. 2 1/3, 2 2/3, 3. If I were to continue, let's pretend, I would invite the 3 to the party. This would be 1/3, 2/3, invite it to the party, 3 1/3, 3 2/3, 4. If I continue, it would be 4 1/3, 4 2/3, 5. Okay? All right. There aren't very many number lines like this on your workbook page, but there are a couple. So I wanted to show you this so when you get to those, you understand. Okay, watch the second video to do the reteaching page with me.